Welcome to Finding Monster Rights, the show about finding monsters, right?
Hop, 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 hippity hop, I need love.
I would like to introduce you to my friend Allie.
I would like to introduce you to my friend Adam. Oh, I see. I'm the rabbit.
Yeah, and we are talking about everyone's friend, my friend Harvey, down the Pooka rabbit hole.
So, the 1950 film Harvey, starring James Stewart, itself an adaptation of Mary Chase's 1944 play of the same name. Middle of World War II, the lady decides, you know what? We need a goofy play about a rabbit and some misunderstandings. And by God, we did. And you know what? We won. So maybe she was right.
Yes. This, what was it? 72-year-old film.
Oh, yeah.
I think we both first saw it in high school. Mm-hmm. That was our introduction to it.
Yep. Mr. Matt's class.
Oh, I think I had a different class.
Oh.
But either way, yeah, it's funny because it's called a comedy drama, but it slips into the horror premise like real easily.
Really? I thought you were going to say it's just full comedy.
Well, maybe the drama has aged in a very comic way.
Actually, you know what? It is a little bit like a Scrubs episode in its execution, this film.
Yes.
There are two people that end up hooking up that work at a hospital. That does sound like Scrubs.
I don't disagree.
So, let's start by talking about the movie. So we can just explain. I want to get to a point where I can explain what the hell my little opening bit there was.
Yeah. The film centers around our protagonist Dowd, Elwood P. Dowd, who is basically he's Jimmy Stewart doing his Jimmy Stewartiest. And as he walks around town in his giant, elaborate 1950s mansion...
Yeah, no, he walks out of this relatable everyman mansion with, like, a wrought iron gate, and, like, it's huge, and there's a statue of him out front.
On the banister, there's these, like, globes of marble, pure marble.
And he swims around in money and the bones of poor people.
They surely have a... They surely... Oh, splish splash.
Oh, there's a hobbit stealing my Arkenstone. Is that, well, let me give you my card. Or, no, if you want to call me on this number, not this one, that's the old one. And give me back my Arkenstone, you filthy bitch.
Yeah, Elwood
Barrel rider, right?
Elwood's dripping with quirks.
Yeah.
And the largest of which he wraps his arm around as he goes around town.
Specifically, that quirk is an invisible 6 foot 3.5 inches or 1.92 meters tall, white invisible rabbit.
It's weird that he's white and invisible.
Well, Jimmy Stewart can see him, and so can a few other people. Right. It turns out.
Yeah, that's the interesting thing about this is that Elwood, the rabbit's name is Harvey.
Yes.
Elwood has inherited this mansion from like his late mother, and his sister is the word I think I'm going to use is dowdy.
Elwood P.
Yeah, Elwood P. Dowdy, she's also got an extinct name, Vita.
Yes, yeah, no one's really named that anymore, are they?
No, and I think the combo name Myrtle May is what her daughter's name is also like a forbidden fruit.
What am I thinking of? Oh, Mari May, the French-Canadian singer. Not relevant, but...
No, but basically, Vita is trying to get Elwood committed. Because this giant rabbit of his gets him into all kinds of trouble.
Yeah, she's hosting a party that features a woman singing like some song about hip hop. Okay, well not that, but like it just goes like it goes literally like this. I'll see if I can put it in a clip. Which I think might be like kind of a dig. Like this woman knows about the rabbit thing, and she's just like trolling Vita.
Yeah, she's singing about hopping her all around.
Yeah, but it's like this is what a high society socialite does when she wants her daughter to meet eligible young men. Is she throws a party for other socialites, and it's like, does anything get fucking done in this town?
No, this is her only interest. And Myrtle May, the daughter, is kind of a hard sell because of her uncle, and who's supposed to be out about town getting drunk. This is the main thing that he does. Is he goes to bars. He orders 2 martinis, one for him and one for Harvey.
I don't think rabbits can drink alcohol, but I don't know for sure.
I think he does it for the olive in the martini glass.
Oh, you know what? They can drink alcohol. I don't think they can eat olives, though.
Oh, no.
Don't buy a rabbit.
Yeah. I'll avoid it.
I will tell Alex to beg you to get one.
I mean, we should highlight that while he has the appearance of a rabbit, Harvey is not one.
Yes.
He is a mythical creature.
As Jimmy explains.
He's a Pooka.
He's a Pooka, is what he is. That's the most plosive word I've ever heard of, actually.
Yeah, it first it explodes, then it implodes as it's contained.
It's like a nuclear. It like sinks to like a nuclear explosion. Pooka. Anyway,
it sounds like a slur for a tabaxi in a fantasy world.
As this is a good inside joke reference. This is a reference to what I believe is the case with the word koozie, as in beer koozie.
Yes, I think that's a good format for many of these strange Celtic words.
I don't think koozie is Celtic. So dumb. So Jimmy Stewart thwarts inevitably. Jimmy Stewart is just having a lovely day today.
Yeah, and one of the reasons that his sister Vita like kind of hates him is because he's always like inviting over like strange people, basically like bums and stuff that he meets at the bar.
Yeah.
And read of this movie is that he's just a really generous guy. He's got this beautiful mansion and he's being like super charitable with it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what's going on. He's just like inviting people to have dinner with him and his sister Vita and his niece Myrtle Beach.
But because he doesn't fit in and like is like, you know, basically a social toxicness to all these attendees, Vita like, you know, wants to have him done away with.
Right. He goes up into the high society place and he's like, "Oh, hello, Mrs. High Society lady. Have you met my friend Harvey? He's a giant talking rabbit and he whispers things to me, dark things.
He told me I was going to die in 7 days.
No mortal man should hear what I ever heard, but I did." That was maybe the best switch laugh I've ever done.
You've been channeling that you had to go back to the 50s to pick up some more 90s villain energy.
Got the moon in my eyes.
So Vita has arranged this and takes Elwood to a sanatorium.
Sanitarium.
Basically, you know, in this One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest era of like when mental health was addressed by, you know, some guys in white shirts.
Some guys named Dr. Lyman Sanderson. That's another extinct name. Lyman.
Yeah. And his boss, Dr. Chumley.
Right.
Who was built exactly like the Pawn Stars character.
Yes, I was going to say, who went on to have a successful career as a Pawn Star.
Before being arrested, I believe.
Oh, did Chumley from Pawn Stars get arrested?
Yes. Can you believe it? He was so by the book.
Let me call a friend of mine who's an expert in Chumleys. Hey, Adam, did Chumley from Pawn Stars get arrested? Oh.
Yes, he did.
Oh, wow. Yeah, no, checks out. All right, best I can do is $5.
Oh, that sounds like a bargain at half the price.
He would do that. Elwood P. Dowd is very nice like that. Not like the real Jimmy Stewart, who was a cruel man who stole Yeti fingers.
So Elwood is waiting in the taxi while Vita's like kind of signing up on his papers, and she kind of goes to Dr. Lyman in confidence and tells him what's up about this rabbit. And she words it in a way that a comedy of errors is going to ensue, where he's going to say that she's the crazy one, and she was clearly trying to blame it on Elwood for insurance purposes.
Yes, she admits that, sometimes I think it's just driving me crazy. I almost think I can see the rabbit myself. And Dr. Sanderson's like, really? Hey, why don't you stay here? And then he, like, hires some guy to beat her up or something.
Yeah.
He hires the orderly to like, take her upstairs and, like, process her, essentially.
Mr. Wilson, as the orderly is known.
Yes. To process her into the sanitarium.
And I want to point this out, that this is something I didn't catch the first go-around when I saw this, tens of years ago. But she's treated, like, this is a hell for a socialite.
Yes.
Like she's literally like cut off from like social society and treated like an outcast. It's kind of the worst possible thing that could happen to her.
Yes, and it's the way that they dealt with health in the 40s, I suppose.
Yeah, she has like a monologue later that I'm like, they're so close to being a District 9 style message here. But it kind of glosses over that. I don't think they were ready for that yet.
By District 9, you mean socially relevant.
Yeah, exactly.
So, Elwood Dowd talks to Dr. Sanderson and Nurse Kelly, who are, like, this movie is maybe now the oldest entry on the list of movies I am too bisexual to watch.
Oh, no.
Like,
which of them?
Both. That's the idea. These are both this is a very attractive couple. Like, add this to the list with Mask of Zorro and Kong Skull Island.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Is that they've got some real power energy between them.
You're just watching this 72-year-old Jimmy Stewart movie, and like Tom Hiddleston with his sleeves rolls up walks in the background, and I'm like, fuck, how did he know? He's in full HD in color. How did he know he would be in this movie?
Yeah. So, and the comedy here is that as soon as Elwood introduces Harvey, like, the jig is up. They'll know that he's, like, kind of the one that's more out of it. But he's always, like, cut off just in time before he can. And he basically makes plans with them to hang out later this evening. He, throughout the movie, like, he always is inviting just random people, like, that he encounters to come over for dinner the following day.
Yes, and essentially there's, like, ins and outs, and it's a whole comedy of errors, and I don't think we need to recap the entire movie, but essentially what happens is the head of the sanitarium, whose name is Dr. Chumley, ends up also being able to see Harvey.
Yeah, the Pooka, as he's known, like, starts, like, kind of haunting him in a way. And you learn throughout the course of this movie is that Harvey is a dick.
I don't know. I really liked Harvey's actions in this movie. I would do that if I were a giant invisible white rabbit.
A dick might be the wrong phrase. He's a Loki type. He is a Bugs Bunny.
He's a trickster. He's mischievous.
Yes, and he'll often do things, and he's playing some real 4D chess with the people of this movie. One of those steps involves, like, befriending Chumley, this old gentleman who basically confesses to Elwood later in the film that, like, a fantasy of his, that a sexual fantasy of his, in the unsexiest place in the world, Akron, Ohio, that he wants to basically have Harvey help him relive.
Yeah, he wants to spend 2 weeks in Akron, Ohio with a beautiful blonde woman, and he would tell her all of his problems, and she would take his hands and say, "Oh, you poor thing."
Basically, yes.
Which, I mean, okay, that's your thing. And over the course of the movie, like, Harvey reveals that he is definitely for sure real to the audience. Like, he changes the words in an encyclopedia. Like, somebody picks up an encyclopedia and starts reading about Pookas, And, like, he's, like, not very well read, so he's reading it all slowly. And then, like, the last words in the entry for Pooka are, like, how are you doing, Mr. Wilson?
Right, and it freaks him out in a big way. And like, when you get to, like...
Who in the encyclopedia wants to know?
Yeah. And suddenly you realize, like, Dowd, Elwood P. Dowd, explains later on, like, what some of his powers are. And they're very, I'm gonna say near infinite in the number of hijinks that can ensue with them.
Yeah, he has flash powers, for one.
Yes. He can pause time.
Yes, he can.
Essentially.
This is what prompts the whole discussion about the 2 weeks in Akron, is he can pause time for everybody, then, like, whisk you away on this thing for 2 weeks, and then take you back, and then like, nothing's changed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as he reads in the encyclopedia, Pooka is a fairy type.
Hmm?
And he uses the pronunciation Celtic, which is very funny.
Like the Boston Celtics?
Yes.
Which, okay, you know what? No, that makes sense for the character, I think.
I would agree.
Yeah.
This is throughout the course of the orderly Mr. Wilson and Myrtle May, the daughter, they kind of fall in love in the background.
Fall in love is a strange fucking way to put it, because it starts off, like, the scene with them, like, I'm, like, is this going to be, like, a sexual assault scene? But then, like, they fall in love instead? Like,
yeah, but she's like, yeah, she wants something to happen between them, but, like, not the way that he wants it.
Like, they go into the kitchen off screen, a scream plays, and then, like, in the next scene, like, they're fine. Like, they're not, like nothing bad has happened.
Yeah, she cooks him up an egg and onion sandwich, which sounds awful.
Honestly, no, that does sound good, but why the fuck is it on a sandwich?
And I do want to point out, when I watched this, I'm like, oh man, this is so... 1950s was so disgusting. Like, look at this man. He's clearly like 50-something. And Myrtle May is like some, like, you know, she, like 20-year-old, very young, like, daughter. I looked up the actor and actress, and I was very surprised to learn, how old would you pin Mr. Wilson?
Say he's about 40, maybe?
Jesse White was 33 when this came out.
Well, hot damn. That's about 6 years older than me, and he looks much uglier.
He's very broad, and he's very... Something happened to people. Let me tell you.
I've heard that older generations of men had more testosterone.
I could see that, and
like
there's also like something certainly in, like, the smoking every day. It doesn't help.
Oh, for sure. That's got to have something to do with it too. But, like, for example, I'm transgender. I switched that switch from M to F, and, like, when I started going on hormones, like, I started getting carded again, and, like, people coming to the door when I was living with my parents, people would stop asking me, like, do you want to sign up for this, as clearly the homeowner, and start asking me, like, are your parents home again?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, there's definitely something to be said for that hypothesis.
Yeah, that's Jesse White, and Myrtle May is played by Victoria Horn, who is... how old would you guess that she was?
She maybe seems like she's in her 30s. I'd say, like, a little older than him.
Yeah, 39.
Oh, there you go.
I was blown away, because my first read was totally flipped. So I'm like, no, 39, 33, they're fine. Like, get hitched, you two. Get out of here.
Yeah. Although he is not very good looking, though.
No. Dumpy might be the word I use for him.
Yeah, not a good looking gentleman, I'd say. Although maybe he's nice. Look, it's a man and a woman, so they just threw them together. Like, Avril Lavigne wrote every movie from before they invented gay people.
Right.
He's an orderly. She's not married. Can I make it any more obvious?
The other name I just want to drop here before we move on from the movie is Josephine Hull, who plays Vita. She played the character Vita in the stage adaptation. And she actually won an Academy Award for this performance.
I mean, it was a good performance.
Yeah,
Did she slap anybody who made fun of her wife? Because otherwise it doesn't count.
I didn't check the tapes on that one.
Hmm.
I suppose they were a lot less interesting back then, huh?
Oh man, like what if that did happen though, and just like
You know what?
here's the thing about the slap no one talks about. Like, you know that one picture of it? Like, what the fuck is Will Smith doing with his physical human form? Because he looks like a robot. Like, he looks like a slapping machine. He looks like
he looks like he was replaced an iRobot with an actual robot.
It reminds me of like the kids in elementary school at recess who would run like Naruto because they said it was more efficient.
He looks like he's mad that he passed up on the Matrix for Wild Wild West, and he's trying to counter that with his body's position.
Yeah, he's acting like a Matrix character in real life.
Yes,
and then he slapped a cartoon zebra.
But I think if that slap happened in 1950, like everyone would like participate. Like it'd be like a food fight essentially.
That rules. Oh man, Hunger Games, but for famous people.
You want a piece of this?
Fucking James Stewart can and has killed a man. Wasn't he in the armed forces?
Whatever the CIA was before they were called that.
The CIC.
You're damn right.
Oh shit!
I'm gonna wind up a pitch and toss it right into your keister.
Oh, you're gonna punch my butt?
Did I stutter?
Not until recently. That's another thing. There's a lot of actually good jokes in this. Jimmy Stewart and Harvey are sitting like in a booth, and they ask him like, "Where's Dowd? Where is he?" And the bartender's like, "Oh, he's over there. Is he alone?" Well, there's two schools of thought.
Yeah, no, it's got a lot of zingers. Honestly, at one point early, I had like a moment of Digby early on. Because we haven't thrown back to a movie like this in quite a bit, but now I was like, no, this deserves kind of the adaptation that I got, and like these are some high caliber actors at the time, just throwing around some real good one liners.
Yeah, and also there have been multiple attempts at adaptations made, and Tom Hanks and John Travolta and all them, they've all said hey, I will never be able to match Jimmy Stewart's performance in this movie. And he's just being nice.
That's a bridge too far.
Yeah, Hollywood actors, they can't just act like nice people. They're too busy learning robot slaps to hurt cartoon zebras with.
The other message that I got from the movie that I didn't pick up when I first saw it was there's an alcoholic read of this one. We were talking about two schools of thought. Because they talk about how he hits the bars an awful lot with Harvey, and that's always what Harvey's up for. So at the conclusion of the movie is basically they've all wound up back at the sanatorium.
Sanitarium. Go ahead.
There's a magic serum called Formula 977 that's supposed to stop Elwood from kind of seeing Harvey. And he'll become a kind of regular member of society.
One of the things that he says is tell Dr. Chumley to say goodbye to the old fellow for me. I cried.
It's very sad.
Yeah.
Honestly.
He's just so nice.
Mm-hmm. And we've established that Harvey's real.
Yes.
That's the thing about Vita. That's the thing about Vita is that her confession to to Dr. Sanderson is basically I've seen him. I know he's out there.
Yeah.
I know he's really here.
We see him open doors. We see him and act in the physical world in ways that it's not the wind. It's not just residual motion from someone opening the door and then it swings open in the same way again. He's fully opening the doors. There is no explanation for what we are seeing other than this is a magical realism movie.
Right. And, as he's going back there, a comedy of errors ensues with the cab driver wants his fare. Vita can't find her coin purse, so she gets Elwood to pay. And Elwood, has a nice interaction with the cab driver. Cab driver has a monologue about how people come in here all nice and they leave all, kind of mean like everybody else. And it kind of inspires her to if he gets this formula, he might not be the same Elwood anymore.
He would become a perfectly normal human being, and you know what stinkers they are.
Yeah. She stops the injection and basically says, "Come on, let's forget all this and go back home." And as she's going, she finds her coin purse, implying that Harvey, like I said, masterminded this scenario to get the cab driver to talk, to meet Elwood, to speak of the errors of this place, and convince Vita to, like, he was the ultimate Bugs Bunny of this situation.
Yeah, no, he's... the Pooka, as we'll talk about in a minute, is already a very tricksy spirit, and so making him primarily a rabbit for this movie and for this play is, like, a very good choice, because it kind of, like, marries that trickster tradition with the tradition of, like, your Bugs Bunny, your Brer Rabbits, like, you know, going back, like, into infinity of the rabbit as a trickster.
Yeah, the other forms wouldn't match as well to that energy.
Yeah. Maybe goat.
Yeah. There's a brief scene where, like, Harvey stays with Dr. Chumley, but then as he's leaving, as Elwood's leaving, like, Harvey's, like, follows after. Did you think what I thought?
Yeah. He froze, like...
Yep.
He took Chumley to Akron for 2 weeks. Maybe he shapeshifted into this woman who told him, "You poor thing."
Yeah, he made the deal. And do you think whatever Elwood's got enables him to perceive Harvey? Which is why he, like, didn't want this juice to happen to him? Or do you think he just likes Elwood the way he is?
I think he just likes Elwood the way he is. And I don't know if Harvey is real, then, like, what about the formula would stop Elwood from seeing him? Like, is there, like, cold iron in Formula 977?
I guess there's... My thought would be if it was injected, there'd be nothing. Elwood would just be like... He would still see Harvey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the things that he says that really struck a chord with me was... my mother always said to me that you could either be pleasant or smart. I've been smart. Trust me, I prefer pleasant.
Yeah, which is, I think, sums up Elwood in a very good sense.
Yeah, he's trying to be, like, this nice and this personable because he likes it.
Yeah, and there's a read of this movie that's also, like, very Christ-like.
Okay.
In the way that he goes around interacting with people, inviting them to the great feast.
I could see that, yeah. Yeah, I suppose I could see that. Myrtle Beach is like Mary Magdalene.
And Vita's the Pharisees.
Judas. Oh, wait.
I think the Pharisees.
Okay, who's Judas then?
Let's see. Judas would be the orderly.
Maybe Judas is like Dr. Chumley, but in, like, the Gospel of Judas kind of way, where the other disciples are all stupid, and, like, Judas is the only one who knows, like, the truth, which is that Jesus is from, like, the seventh heaven of, like, Strongbadia or whatever, and he needs to fight the demiurge, and the monad is there.
Yeah, it's a...
Gospel of Judas, look it up. It's crazy shit. We should do an episode about it somehow. It's not about monsters, but, like, it is essentially like they found, like, 1900-year-old edgy fanfic about the Bible.
I was gonna say fanfic. That's which is amazing.
I mean, it was, like, specifically identified. It's as legitimate as, like, Revelation or any of the other Gospels, but, like, in the medieval era, the church was just like, all right, how about let's not with this one? This one's kind of stupid.
Yeah, we're going to put this one in the Appendix Z section.
It kind of goes against all the other Gospels. We're not even going to put it in Appendix Z. We're just going to, like, burn all of it. And they found, like, one thing in a vault somewhere in Egypt, and then they just, like, took it to... We're off track. Yeah,
we've gone down a different rabbit hole. Let's talk about the Pooka.
Yes, let's talk about the rabbit hole du jour. So... The Pooka. Irish for spirit ghost, plural Pookai, also spelled Pooka and Phouka, is primarily a creature of Celtic folklore. Considered to be bringers both of good and bad fortune, they could help or hinder rural and marine communities. In brackets, Pookai can have dark or white fur or hair. The creatures were said to be shape changers, which could take the appearances of horses, goats, cats, dogs, and hares. They may also take a human form, which includes various animal features such as ears or a tail. How are you, Miss Allie? Oh, that's odd. Who in Wikipedia wants to know?
I was hoping very much that you would do that.
Thank you. Yes.
But yeah, they're little Celtic fairy tricksters,
Mm-hmm.
and the horse is what I read was the most common form.
Yes, that seems to be the case. Which, as it says here on Wikipedia directly, one theme of the Pooka's folklore is their proclivity for mischief. They are commonly said to entice humans to take a ride on their back, giving the rider a wild and terrifying journey. Which, shit. Okay. I'm into it. Before dropping the unlucky person back at the place where they were taken from.
Which kind of has that same like timelessness feel to it, doesn't it?
Yes, I think so. So they can be menacing or beneficial. They don't really seem to be malevolent, though.
No, and I don't think the Harvey as portrayed in the movie is malevolent. He just likes to have like a good time.
Yeah, honestly, there's nothing in that movie that specifically contradicts Pooka folklore, from what I can tell.
Mm-hmm. Which is crazy because it's a 1944, 1950, like, Mary Chase had to like hit up the library.
Yeah.
Or pass down family traditions,
I mean, she was pretty progressive for her era, I'm sure, because, she is a woman writing a play in the 40s. Back when they thought that it was all, like, devil magics. Ah, you're pretending to be a different person? Burn Jimmy Stewart at the stake. Oh, well, I think you'll find I have control over fire. And he just, like, takes one of their torches and just, like, grabs it by the flame and then just, like, dances around his hand. You see now how I bend the elements to my will.
I'll give this fire a licking myself.
And then he...
come here, you. Come here. Open flames.
And then he just, like, puts his hand on, like, Hitler's, like, head and chest and just takes the bending from him. And that's how we won World War II.
Let me tell you about my Kampf.
I'm about to win it. That's such a cool thing to say before killing Hitler, though.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
For the record, Mary Chase grew up as a poor working class baker in Denver, Colorado, not far from the railroad tracks. So, and she was very influenced by Irish myths from her mother.
Oh. So, one of the ways to control one of these Pooka that's giving you a wild ride is cold iron spurs.
That's pretty badass.
Well,
any shape that you can make cold iron to that's not just like a dagger is awesome, if you ask me.
It's very true. So, let me read this verbatim again. While Pooka's stories can be found across Northern Europe, Irish tales specify a protective measure for encountering a Pooka. It is said that the rider may be able to take control of the Pooka by wearing sharp spurs, using those to prevent being taken or to steer the creature if already on its back. A translation of an Irish Pooka story: An Buakial Boagus on Pooka. Definitely pronounced that right. Crushed it, Allie. Told by storyteller Sean, or maybe just Sean, but there's an accent. O. Kroinen describes this method of control of the Pooka as done by a young boy who had been the creature's target once before. The farmer asked the lad what had kept him out so late. The lad told him. I have spurs, said the farmer. Put them on you tonight, and if he brings you, give him the spurs. And this the lad did. The thing threw him from its back, and the lad got back early enough. Within a week, the Pooka was before him again, after housing the cows. Come to me, said the lad, so I can get up on your back. Have you the sharp things on? Said the animal. Certainly, said the lad. Oh, I won't go near you then, he said. The word of the Lord.
The part of that
my preacher powers are slipping.
That text reads like Robert W. Morgan fiction.
It also reads like, I mean, I wasn't kidding. Like, it does read like the very like plain way that they talk in the Bible, where it's like clearly something that's been translated for 2,000 years, and it's like, and Jesus said
over and over and over.
Like,
yeah.
If you actually talked like how they talked in the Gospels, people would think you were an absolute fucking lunatic. Like, we will record the podcast tonight. after the 7th hour, and half of the 8th hour have passed from the point in the sky when the sun is highest and closest to the heavenly Father. Alleluia, alleluia. And you're like, cool, so 7:30 then? Alleluia. I'm walking down the road.
It is agreed.
It is agreed. We are in one accord. Anyway.
So yeah, I like the image of the cowboys taking charge of the Pookas.
A lot of heresy coming in from in this episode about a Jimmy Stewart movie. I think I might be. This has been a thing that I've been thinking lately, where I think I might be the devil. Anyway, in contrast, the Pooka is represented as being helpful to farmers by Lady Wilde, who relates the following tale: a farmer's son named Padraig, I'm going to say Patrick, one day noticed the invisible presence of a Pooka brushing by and called out to him, offering a coat. The Pooka appeared in the guise of a young bull and told him to come to the old mill at night. From that time onward, the Pooka came secretly at night and performed all the work of milling the sacks of corn into flour.
Wait, hang on, this is some fucking... Hang on. I've heard this one before. This is some Rumpelstiltskin.
I mean, yes, but it gets better. So Padraig fell asleep the first time, but later concealed himself in a chest to catch sight of them, and later made a present of a fine silk suit. This unexpectedly caused the Pooka to go off to see a little of the world and cease its work. But by then the farmer's wealth allowed him to retire and give his son an education. Later, at Patraig's wedding, the Pooka left a gift of a golden cup filled with drink that evidently ensured their happiness. So, they can be good, they can be bad. After Samhain, which is the Gaelic harvest festival that the Catholic Church replaced with Halloween, when the last of the crops are brought in, anything remaining in the fields after that is considered fairy blasted, and therefore inevitable. Let me drink that Kool-Aid flavor.
Fairy blasted, whoa.
Fairy blasted wheat.
Sorry to connect so many recent episodes, but this is some... We've done a couple fairy tales in a row here, in a sense. I didn't realize we were upon that now. But, this feels a lot like the Baba Yaga story, too. Just, this a real benevolent benefactor at the end of it instead.
Yeah. I mean, it's a shame that we didn't do this on November 1st, which is apparently the Pooka's Day. That's the day after Halloween. So it's one day after, halfway between the autumn equinox and the winter solstice.
Well, there's another, there's a good number of other Pooka tales.
Yeah.
Everyone dig this up. I mean, this is an Easter classic.
Sure, yeah.
I recall that the painting of Harvey and Elwood together, it was a popular Easter card for many years.
Yeah. We should do, post for Throw Forward Thursday. We should post, that, but, Finding Monster Right is Harvey.
I agree.
Good. Now you understand what that image was about, folks. That's the point of Throw Forward Thursday.
That we hint at something beforehand.
We hinted something that only we know about.
Doing my homework for this episode, I saw that the painting went up for auction recently. About a year ago, and I'm real mad that I missed it, because it sold for $71.
Aw, man!
I would happily throw way more than that down for that painting.
Yeah, that seems reasonable. What a shame.
Maybe it was real quiet. Maybe it was a very quiet estate sale or something like that, but I'm like, damn it, I was so close.
Alright, so... You clearly...
just missed it.
You clearly don't have a Pooka looking out for you. So...
speaking of Pookas...
Yeah, I want to read this, and I want to know if you think the same thing I do.
Okay.
According to legend, the Pooka is a deft shapeshifter, capable of assuming a variety of terrifying or pleasing forms. It can take a human form, but will often have animal features such as ears or a tail. As an animal, the Pooka will most commonly appear as a horse, cat, rabbit, raven, fox, wolf, goat, goblin, or dog. No matter what shape the Pooka takes, its fur is almost always dark. I guess sometimes it's white also. Most commonly takes the form of a sleek black horse with a flowing mane and luminescent golden eyes. So, what do you think my thought here is?
Are you gonna ask me like what shape I would prefer to have a Pooka appear in?
No, I'm just saying like mythologically accurate cat girls. As an animal, the Pooka will most commonly appear as a horse, cat, rabbit, raven, fox, wolf, goat, goblin, or dog. Goblin's not a fucking animal. That's crazy. It can take a human form, but will often have animal features such as ears or a tail. Ears, tail, cat. There you go.
You're talking about cat girl Pooka.
Cat girls go back all the way into Celtic mythology.
People have been obsessed with this concept of a cat girl for many times. This wasn't a weeb invention. This is ingrained in our mythology.
There's one of them that's trans that's all over the memes. I've seen the memes, and I'm like, I relate to that. And I guess I'm this cat girl now. Yeah.
I like that Goblin's on the list.
Yeah, that's
because like every now and then the Pooka's like, all right, look, I need like a wild shape for like my true self.
Yeah, I need one that can like talk and open doors and stuff.
Yeah, I like to hunt around and pick up stray things in my apartment and go, yeah. You know?
Yeah.
So I think it's there's a Pooka shape for every occasion, isn't there?
There really is. What Pooka shape would you want to Pooka take?
Would I serve? I would just do whatever I felt like, right? That's the thing that I don't think this movie explores, is that the horror elements is that if Elwood wasn't such a nice guy, like this would be terrifying. That there is a giant rabbit shape there that only a few people can see and can basically do anything. It's you're being haunted by a mythological creature.
Yeah, it's like jinxing you and tricking you into like doing some stupid bullshit, like tying your own shoes together or something.
In an era where if you told someone about that, they're gonna lock you in a tiny room.
Yeah, which it's like, oh, well, he's crazy. He sees a rabbit. Oh, crazy. We'll lock him up right now. And it's driving me crazy because sometimes I see the rabbit. Oh, we're locking you up too. What? Oh, no. Oh, yeah, no, go ahead and release the first guy. Clearly he wasn't. Oh, man, that's just crazy. What? Lock her up too. Oh, man. Oh, man, all this stuff. I feel like I'm so mad about it. Ah! Oh, no, now I'm getting locked up. There was a bit where I made a joke out loud as if we were doing a movie commentary for no one. Where...
Oh, you did?
Yeah, and it was like, go up there and just, hit him with the old, like, if you have to bat your eyelashes and do a little sachet. I mean, it doesn't work on me. I'm immune, but I've seen you do it on other people here. I'm gay. Oh no, I'm going into the sanitarium. It's the 50s. Oh no. Sanitarium, leave me alone.
Yeah. That facility should be, like, booked up to the corners with the rate that they're putting people in there.
Honestly, yeah. Like, their criteria is very low. I'm not surprised they thought gay people should go in there as well.
Yeah, like over the course of a single day, the events unfurl. I think, like, given a full week, like, Mr. Wilson would be in there. Myrtle May would be as well.
You like
the judge character.
You like chocolate ice cream instead of vanilla? God's flavor? Into the sanitarium. You like ice cream instead of weird jello? Into the sanitarium. 50s. Everybody's getting sanitariumed.
3 buttons on a 4-button vest.
Sanitarium. Believe it or not, straight to sanitarium.
Oh man, I think we got into a fender bender.
Throwing too many people into the sanitarium? Believe it or not, sanitarium.
Just corner. Maybe because a Pooka could do that shit. He chooses who gets to see him.
Yeah.
He's a terror on this town. He could put them all away.
And honestly, then the sanitarium is the town.
Yeah, but I think he just likes to chill. He likes to go over to Charlie's, get a nightcap, and thank God, because if he wasn't so cool, If Harvey wasn't an awesome dude, everyone would be. It's basically the Twilight Zone episode about the kid.
Oh yeah, honestly, well. I mean, that's what happens. That's just like, like you go to some town that's full of like CR0 villagers, and like someone that's CR5 is gonna fuck them right up.
Absolutely, they're all on this, or any kind of monster that can shapeshift. So yeah, no, you look like a human. You predict one storm, and all of a sudden you're the mayor. Real quick, I want to ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a place for a Pooka like Harvey in the world today?
Oh.
Can we do a quick monster rehab?
Yes, we can.
So yes, sorting the Pooka into our modern day society. It's not as, I don't think it's as pleasant as 1950s with Jimmy Stewart.
Maybe he should work in whatever the modern equivalent is of a sanitarium.
Helping out people that like are kind of stuck there.
Yeah, like helping out people that are like committed, that are institutionalized. That is a thing that is still done. I think we're a little better with it now than we were. I don't know if we're perfect. I would doubt it.
We've been better since at least 25 years later.
Well, surely, yeah.
But yeah, I could see a narrative here. Like after his time with Elwood, he like kind of went on to other people, but more and more like the sanatorium became the go-to answer. So maybe he just stuck around there since he didn't want to cause a big fuss.
I don't know. I think with advances, like, when did Jimmy Stewart die in real life? Like 97?
Yeah, not too long ago.
Yeah. So I think by the time of like 1997, I think the sanitarium. First off, that song by Metallica has already come out like 11 years prior. So
good.
Yeah. So 1997, I was right.
Yep.
Yes, I know when people die.
I died 2 days before democracy died.
Why did democracy die on July 4th, 1997?
I think you've answered your own question.
No, I haven't, but I feel like I did. Maybe it's time to take Harvey off to where Jimmy Stewart is, off to the final rating place,
where we put this big old rabbit to bed.
Yeah, let's hunt some rabbits with an elephant gun.
Harvey is a wonderful piece of art. That's how I would describe this movie, because it's not straightforward. There's not a single interpretation of it, and there's kind of layers here to work through. Harvey, the Pooka monster, I think is also very could fit in a bunch of different forms too. We didn't mention it much, but Donnie Darko is another Pooka piece of media. And yeah, the rabbit shaped fairy takes a whole different role in that story. I think it's ripe for different potential, and I like how not known of a pick it is. We're not talking about a Frankenstein or a Dracula. We're talking about a giant rabbit that could, yes, very well be the star of a horror film.
Honestly, yeah. If it weren't a rabbit and it were instead like one of these like black horse things.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of different shapes it can take, and I think that unfortunately it's kind of been grouped up in a bunch of other kind of doppelganger type creatures, you know? I feel like the Pooka's barely mentioned these days. And of course, Bugs Bunny taking the cake as the rabbit icon of like the 1900s.
I think you're right about that.
So Harvey fits in a niche between the two, and I think that it's a shame because it's a really interesting piece of media, and I'm going to give him a solid 9 out of 10.
I like what you said about how it's a very obscured monster. Not obscure, but obscured. Like, it's almost not distinctive enough to stick out, but it really is if you look into it. Like, this is very much where a lot of the, like, leave milk out for the fairies or else the rest of your milk will go bad.
Right, it's still got that energy to it, delivered by the screen by the playwright, like from her mother's like tales.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's that piece of that old world provided by Mary Chase, and then it's in this new setting of Broadway, then delivered on the screen, then at the Academy Awards. It's this quippy, bright tale.
Yeah, honestly, like, it very much has a lot of Keenan and Kel energy, where it's a lot of, like, misunderstandings and cringe humor and stuff.
Yeah, this is I think this predates the situational comedy TV format.
Mm.
It's like, this is where you would go for those stories. You'd, spend an afternoon at the theater.
Yeah, this is a, what would that be? This is a, 104-minute sitcom episode, essentially.
Basically.
If only people stopped interrupting each other and, let them get a full explanation out and, see where they were going with this one, then...
Right, but...
Then maybe everyone...
But they keep interrupting them,
yeah.
And they run to this problem.
I was going to say it reminds me of a certain podcast. But yeah, I'm going to give it 7.9 stars out of 10. That's my own original rating. I might download bits of information from IMDb, but you know what? This isn't one of them. No, I came up with that rating by myself. 7.9 out of 10.
Okay. Well,
that seems a little low for this movie. This was delightful. What are you talking about, IMDb?
I would disagree with that. This is at least this is an 8 territory.
Yeah, I think 7.9 is a little low.
Oh, who are these MDibs? I'll have a word or two with them.
Well, hang on, Adam.
My left word, my right word, right here.
Adam, you're doing an impression of Jimmy Stewart as an old man. Can you do an impression of young Jimmy Stewart?
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
There's only 2 ways that this can go down. One's with my fist in your face, and the other's with my other fist in your face.
I'm going to cheat on my wife because I want to.
My life is better now. I have a baby.
A baby?
That makes things better.
My new wife and this baby saved me from myself. That's not a red flag. Everybody on Tumblr was really surprised when I acted like how every straight man ever has ever acted. I'm Jimmy Stewart.
So, thank you for joining us on this expedition back to the 50s. We promise a more modern take next time. As we travel across the stars.
And the moons.
And things that aren't a moon.
What do you want? Do you want me to bring you the moon? I'll fly up there and grab that son of a bitch.
Oh, get here, moon. I'm gonna put you in a headlock.
Harvey gave me magic moon wrestling powers.
Eat some dirt.